What the fuck did I just find? Did you know Roblox has a sub-community where they roleplay kidnappings? Trust me, I wish I didn't either. But now you do, so let's look at them. So, the first kidnapping video I found in Roblox was Kidnapped, Adopt Me Roleplay Part 1. I never found a Part 2, so I'm assuming this is the whole story and there's nothing more to add to the story. So let's explore this fucking amazing story writing. So it starts off pretty normal. It starts by a kid asking her mother, "Let's go to the park, Mom. I want to play at the park." And then they go to the park, and then the mother says, "I'm just gonna go and buy ice cream." And then she drives off. While she's away buying the ice cream, her kid gets kidnapped by Mr. Not Kidnap. I mean, that's a trustworthy name. And the way he kidnaps her is the usual, "Hey, I got free candy." Just as she's being kidnapped, she realizes something's wrong because, uh-oh, his hands are stinky. So what gave away the kidnapper as a kidnapper wasn't that he was carrying her away to her house, to his house, to give her free candy. It was that his hands are stinky. That's the best way to recognize a fucking kidnapper. Every time there's a police lineup of people that could be kidnappers, they ask the fucking witness to go and sniff their hands. If their hands are stinky, that's the kidnapper. So after that, the kidnapper takes her to a fucking small wooden cage, puts her in the cage and just talks shit to her. I don't know why the kidnapper shit talks like a 10-year-old. He's just sitting there like, "Ha, you're in the cage now, I kidnap you, take this L." But the funniest thing about this is, like, when she's in the cage, her priority is still on the candy. She's just there like, "What? I want the free candy. How could you do this? Give me the free candy." So it goes on for a while. He's like, "You're not getting any candy." "But I want candy." "Haha, you're a loser. You don't get any candy." "But I want candy." And suddenly, it takes a really dark turn. Because the fucking kidnapper points to a tombstone and is like, "Hey, if you don't shut the fuck up, that's gonna be you." Which insinuates that he's done this before. He's kidnapped kids by saying he's gonna give them free candy and kill them. That's some heavy shit for a kid's game. So a little bit of time goes by. She goes to sleep in the little cage. When she wakes up, there's another little girl in the cage with her, and together they try to escape. And the way they escape is the kidnapper somehow forgets the axe in like the hand's reach of the girl inside the cage, so they manage to steal an axe from there and just like break open the cage with the axe. That's a really competent kidnapper you got right there. Just put the fucking axe right next to the cage that your fucking victims are in. So at this point, I was thinking, wow, this is gonna have a happy ending. The kids, they're gonna escape. They're gonna go back to their families. They're gonna be happy ever after. The kidnap's gonna get shanked. Wow, this is great. He's gonna go to prison. But boy, did I not know what the fuck I was in for. Because the actual ending is this. So she escapes from the kidnapper, goes back to the park to look for her mom, then she gets kidnapped again. That is the ending that they came up with. So yeah, I tried to look for a part 2 because I was thinking maybe she beats up the kidnapper, maybe she just awakens her fucking JoJo stand and beats the shit out of him, but there's no part 2, so my only assumption is that's where the story ends. So the next one is called Kidnap Roleplay Gone Wrong. And you know, when it has gone wrong in the title, you know it's gonna be spicy. So it's pretty similar to the other one in that regard. The only difference is this time around you get to see a little bit of the kidnapper's perspective. It's like a fucking double-sided story where you get to be sympathetic with the kidnapper. So in the beginning you get to see the kidnapper making cookies with roofies in them. And then it cuts to like the mother of the child that's about to get kidnapped shopping in the shopping mart. And just like any mother in Roblox, she's just garbage at her job. So the kid just escapes outside to look at butterflies without the mother even realizing. And then the kidnapper comes in and says, "Hey, I got butterflies. You want to go home with me? You want to go home in my basement where there are butterflies, 100%? I got a lot of butterflies in my basement." And then the kid's like, "Yeah, sure. That's fine. That sounds perfectly reasonable." So the kid goes home to the kidnapper. The kidnapper offers her the previously mentioned roofie cookies. And the kid faints. And when she wakes up, she's in like a secret lab chair. And the kidnapper is a mad scientist. I mean, surely there are better ways to get fucking test victims than, kidnapping children at the supermarket. But hey, who the fuck am I to say? I'm not a fucking kidnapper, allegedly. While they're talking, the kidnapper does the usual Roblox thing. She's talking shit to the kid and being like, "Ha, I'm not letting you go, pussy, dumbass, stupid. Only an idiot get kidnapped. Ha, getting kidnapped? Couldn't be me." Just bullies the fucking kid while after she kidnapped her, and slowly you realize something important. There's a small text that you must notice. This is important to the story, because the kid gets one of her hands out of the rope. Trust me, this is important. So after this, the scientist feeds her some kind of fucking formula to the girl. Try to test some kind of formula. I don't know. She's probably trying to make a fucking chug jug in real life. But what this formula actually ends up doing is give her like a carrot nose, something you'd have in a snowman. I don't know why someone is trying to make a formula which turns fucking noses into carrots, but the kid uses her arm that she freed up earlier to do something badass. She rips off her own fucking nose that is now a carrot and stabs the scientist in the leg and runs away. Now if that isn't badass, there's nothing that can impress you. So now at this point, again, I was thinking, wow, this is gonna have a wholesome ending. She fucking stabbed the scientist, probably became like the next fucking Lara Croft, and it was gonna be happy ever after. Until this happened. She just got run over by a car, but not even any car. She got ran over by her own mother's car. Just full on fucking yeeted out of the way. Oh, Jesus Christ. Roblox doesn't do happy endings. The first one escaped the kidnapping through, through some random bullshittery. And then instead of being reunited with her family, she just got kidnapped again. And this time around, she escapes from the kidnapper, who's a mad scientist, by the way, who's testing serums on her. And instead of dying from serum poisoning or some dumb shit, she gets hit by a car that her own mother's driving. So I found one more Roblox kidnapping story that I really liked. It actually has two parts to them, but only the second part is interesting, so I'll just speed run the first part so you just kind of know the context. So the first part, a mom has two kids. She leaves to buy shit from the grocery store and the kids are alone at home. Some girl comes down to their house and says, "Oh, I'm your mother's friend, let me in." Whoop-de-doo, she's not the mother's friend. She's a kidnapper. She kidnaps the kids and takes them to their evil lair. In the evil lair, there's already signs on the wall with the kids' names on them, as if they've been planning for fucking ages to kidnap these two specific kids. So after the mom comes home and realizes her kids aren't there, she goes to the cops. And the cops ask her for some important information like, "When did you last see them?" To which she answers, "When I went out." That's all she answers. She doesn't say anything else. And then they ask her for the kids' names, and she only gives the first names. That's some really useful information. You better write that down. So that's the first part, kind of speed ran. Just so you know what's going on in part 2 of this roleplay. So part 2, the police kind of go to the neighborhood where the kids live, just look around, ask the neighbors whether or not they saw the kids and something else. Nobody saw anything, but one of the neighbors that asks is a mom with a kid. This is important for the future. Just keep that in mind, that there's a mom who has a kid who the police asked. So after asking for a while, the police come to a conclusion that your kids might have been kidnapped, and they tell her in a really calm and reasonable and professional way, if this is considered professional. "Oh, your kids might have been kidnapped. Uh-oh, whoopsie. Oh no." That's gonna calm the mother down. So after this, the police come up with a genius and completely ethical plan. You know the mother I mentioned earlier that they asked whether or not she saw the kidnapped kids? They asked her whether or not they can use her child as a bait for the kidnappers. So they want to use like the daughter of someone that they just met, like let her be kidnapped just so they can maybe find the kidnappers. And the mother's completely fine with it. She's just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Just take my daughter. Just let her be kidnapped. This is definitely not an attempt at a late abortion. And then the mother just goes over to the child and tells her, hey, I'm going to the supermarket. She doesn't even tell her that, yeah, you might be kidnapped while I'm gone. Just don't be scared. You'll be fine. She says nothing to the child. She just says, like, I'm going to the supermarket, and then fucks off. Like, can you imagine, like, the most traumatizing event of your life? Like, thinking back on the time you were kidnapped, and then when you're older, realizing or being told that, yeah, you know the time you were kidnapped? And you were really scared and now it still traumatizes you. You still have to take therapy sessions. Yeah, that was all planned by your mom. Yeah, that's gotta feel good. Anyway, back to the story. So, just as they planned, the kid ends up getting kidnapped. Wow, surprise. But that makes me think, are the kidnappers just like chilling around in the neighborhood waiting for like moms to go shopping? Like, hey, that bitch made a big mistake. You're out of milk, now you're out of a child. You'll never see your child again. Surely there's gotta be a better way to like plan kidnappings and find people to kidnap than just waiting around for parents to go shopping without their kids. I mean, I'm not trying to give advice to any kidnappers here, but you can do better, come on. And also, this also means the signs that I mentioned earlier, that there were signs with the names of the girls in the kidnappers' hideout. Do they have names of every single kid in the neighborhood just like plastered on the wall just in case they get the right opportunity to kidnap them? But back to the story, I'm getting distracted. So, after they kidnap the child, they drive her back to the hideout, but the police don't have a car. They forgot to prep a car to chase the kidnappers, so they're way behind the kidnappers. So by the time the police get to the kidnappers' hideout, the kids have already escaped by themselves. I don't know how they escaped. The story is really vague about how they escaped, but somehow the two kids that were originally kidnapped managed to escape and reunite with the police outside, and then eventually reunite with their parents. And then when the police gets to the kidnappers, they arrest the kidnappers. But the child that was kidnapped second, like the child of the random mother who was like, yeah, you can let my child be kidnapped, we never get to find out what the fuck happened to that child. And considering the last two stories, one of which the person got re-kidnapped and the other kid who gave a high five to a car at full speed, honestly, I don't think it went well for that kid. So RIP to that random one kid who got kidnapped just to try to save two kids, but in the end the kids escaped by themselves, so your fucking whole trauma is just fucking worthless now. So that fucking mom, I can't believe she's just like, oh, my daughter is a bait to catch kidnappers. So what's your plan exactly? Oh, you want to let her get kidnapped. You don't even want to catch the kidnapper before kidnapping? Fair enough, just take my daughter. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe and hit the bell or I will hire Mr. Not Kidnapped, who's at the top of FBI's most wanted list. Anyway, that's pretty much it. See ya.